We're going to deal with it. So listen, we talked about intercourse. Let's go in a little further on tonight. Intercourse, all right? Into the course. Going into the course, into that path, connecting with each other sexually. I already said, and I'm just going to speed it up, okay? For those of you have to catch it and go back and listen. We already know that intercourse, we've already talked about it. Being together as one, coming together in the same sequence, in the same path, having that chemistry, igniting that flame, coming together in passion, in love, in lust. However you get there, okay? So now, when we're on that course, when we're joining on that course and we're connecting and we have that chemistry, we have all of the camaraderie, we are united together in harmony, we're connecting together in unity. I said intercourse is not just physical, but intercourse is also spiritual, okay? It's spiritual. It is definitely a spiritual connection. It's not just natural. Even if you're not married, it's not just natural. There's some things going on. You're connecting on a spiritual level, just in case you didn't know it. But let's talk about the intimacy. Intimacy. Into you, see. Into me, see. Okay? That's what intimacy is all about. It's about, what do you see in that person? How does that person make you feel? How do you relate? How do you connect? What is the chemistry between the two? What is the dialogue during the course of the day? You know, intimacy is really deep. Intimacy is before the actual act of sexual intercourse, okay? Intimacy is knowing all of me, getting into me from the morning to the noonday, to late at night, to pillow talk. That's all of intimacy. So I'm going to help our guys on tonight to deal with us, to know how to talk to us, to know how to relate to us, because we're very fickle. We're emotional creatures. We're emotional feelers, and they don't always get into me. They don't get into the intimacy part, seeing into me, okay? So a lot of times, and I'm going to help you guys out on tonight as well. I promise you, I'm going to help you girls too. We're going to get there all together, all right? So, during the course of your busy day, workload, bills, all of what you have going on, the house, the homework, juggling a job, taking care of a spouse, so on and so forth. Okay, gentlemen too, because we know the gentlemen go out, they make the bread, they bring home the bread, they're taking care of home, they're leading their household, they're disciplining their children, they have a whole lot going on, they got to deal with these folk on their job, they come home frustrated, aggravated, you know, stressed, depressed, all of that, and intimacy is in all of that. Intimacy is a part of that. So when we deal with each other, we have to understand where we are. Why are we reacting the way that we're reacting? Why are we responding the way that we're responding? Why does one partner want sex and the other one is fed up and had enough and don't want to deal? Because either, you know us, emotional creatures, right? Emotional feelers. We have a headache. We're tired. We're stressed. We've been through a whole lot. We dealt with the children. We really don't feel like going there. We really don't feel like going there. We don't feel like getting intimate. All right. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. It's because of the pressures of life. It's because of the stresses of the day. It has weighed on us, on our hormones, and we're not ignited right now. So you have to take your time with us, fellas. Okay, we're going to get there, but you got to help us get there, because we're not like a light switch that you can just click off and on. When you want sex, turn on a light. You know, when you're busy and you're focusing your sports and you're doing what you turn the light switch off. We don't work that way. We don't work that way. You know, we have to be talked to. We have to take it slow. You have to make love to our spirit. You have to make love to our mind. You have to, you know, deal with us on that level where we can really unwind. Let us know that you understand where we are. Okay, let us know that you are sensitive and compassionate about what our day was, what we've been through, what we're going through, and then what we have to deal with, even as we prepare for the next day. So when you get into the intimacy, when you begin to see into me, when you get to understand and relate to me on all levels, then you're working that electricity. Come on, now you're not just turning on a light switch, but you're working something on the inside, you're touching a part of us that makes us kind of like say, okay, all right, I understand. I'm connecting now. Okay, my battery is beginning to operate. It's beginning to stimulate. I'm connecting now. So we have to slow it all down, gents, before we can start it back up. You know, you guys, you all start up. Sometimes you stay started. We're not like that. We're not made. Our mechanics are not built that way. So you have to make love to our mind. You have to stimulate our emotions. You have to meet us right where we are. You have to stimulate those sexual senses in us that deals with us from the inside out. You guys basically deal from the outside in. Okay, we deal from the inside out. So all of those emotions, you have to be able to talk to us. Let us know how you feel. Communication is key. All right. Understand this. This is all a part of intimacy. This is actually all a part of foreplay. Foreplay is not just getting in the bed, laying down, and start feeling around and touching each other. And, you know, that's not foreplay. You know, that's the passion of it when you get there. But it takes a whole lot to just get us there. Okay. It takes a moment to just get us there. Okay. Now, let me tell you, understand this. You don't have to deal with us on that level all the time, but if you deal with us on that level at a regular basis, it's going to stimulate those sexual senses in us, and we're going to understand that you care, that you know how to reach us, you know what makes us tick, you know. Now, I can be saying a whole lot to some people that already know it all and already are there. You've already been there, done that, you already know, okay? Sometimes we max out. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes we max out during the course of marriage. I'm going to tell you why. We're going to pencil that for a moment. I'm going to come back to that. But sometimes we max out during the course of marriage because it's spiritual. Remember I said that? Okay, so we'll go back. And we're going to come right back there. So when we're going through intimacy, the intercourse, going into course, remember I said it, on the same path, feeling the same chemistry, having the same aim, wanting that sexual peak, wanting to reach it, all of that stimulation and all of that blood flow. We're stimulated on every level, okay? But there's something that is going on in the female, in the body of the woman, that is causing her to shut down. So you have to be able to tap into that. Understand part 1, 2, and 3, because I talked to the ladies about our hormones, and I told them sometimes we're not always there because there's a hormone imbalance. Okay, I want to say this: I'm not a sex therapist. Okay, I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a woman. That's all. I'm a woman that know women. I'm a woman that has been married for 19 years. I'm divorced now. I can relate to it both spiritually as well as physically. I can relate to it both as well as single or married on both points. Why, Mary J? Because I've been there. I'm writing a book about I've been there. Trust me. I've been there. 19 years of marriage. I've been there. And I'm single now. I've been there too. So I understand it holistically. So I want to help us. Let's help us get through it together, because I hear so many stories of women that have really maxed out sexually. Most of them are married, and they don't have a drive. They don't have a feel. And then I have some that are single that don't have a drive and don't have a feel. And you might be like, Mary J, well, that's good. I mean, because listen, after all, you shouldn't be having sex outside of marriage, right? If you're a Christian, that's what we say. That's right, right? But what happens when you get engaged? What happens if you get married? You don't want to start learning those things at that time on your honeymoon and wishing all of that stuff started working again. Wish you had it to work. So I'm trying to let us know there's a sexual hormone that causes us to be imbalanced, and we need to have that treated. And in a lot of cases, that's pretty much what it is. It's not that you just don't feel, unless you're just not human, because you're made out of flesh and blood, so you should feel something, you know. If you're not stimulated in any way by your husband, really, by your mate, there's something going on. Besides the pressures of life, besides the weights of the world, beside the children and the bills and all of that, we have to be able to get into the flow of it and understand, because it's a healthy thing to have a healthy relationship, and it involves sex. Yes, it does. It involves sex. Now, if it doesn't, you may be already at a place where either this has happened, you're no longer sexually driven, and it can be due to a number of things. High A. It can be due to whether it's a medical situation, you've reached your platoon where you're just like flat out, you're not getting it up anymore, you're not stimulating anymore, whatever that reason may be. It could be age, it could be medicine, it can be a whole lot of things, okay? But for those who are just going through the motion and not understanding why they don't want it, why they're not feeling it, and it's a lot to your partner, basically to the opposite sex, ladies, to your husband, they have to deal with us. Yeah, they have to deal with us. They have to deal with you. Yes. And communication is key. You have to be able to relate to your partner sexually, intimately, spiritually, emotionally. You have to be able to know intimacy. What do you see into me? Where are you taking me? Where are we going? What is it that we're trying to accomplish in this thing together? Okay? Because if you're not communicating with your partner and that person's feel rejected, neglected, unappreciated, taken for granted, all of that, and we both get in our feelings, we're opening doors to so much more to come. Okay? We're opening the doors to so much stuff that is out there that partners can get into. And I'm talking to the male as well as the female. I'm talking to the male as well as the female. So many times, listen, ladies, when your spouse, your husband is telling you he wants sex, when he's telling you he's looking for you, he's reaching for you in the middle of the night, he's trying to feel you and find you, you're not reciprocating, you're not extending the gesture, you're not aroused in any way, you're not engaged, you're tired pretty much, you're emotionally drained pretty much, so you're not connected. This is for the single ladies, married ladies as well, because guess what? If you're single and you desire to be married, you need this. You need to know this. If you're married, you really need to know this, okay? So if your partner is reaching for you and you're just not engaged at all, you're not even there, you're not trying to get there. Because many times we get complacent in relationships when we know we got him. Oh, we got him. He's ours, right? When we know we have him, he's ours. He's not going anywhere. So we think, and I'm just being real. When we got him, we know we got him. But before we get up, oh, we giving it all to him. We working it. We working all the engines. We're raging the engine up. You know, we're full force. We can't get enough. He's looking for it. We're wanting it. We're looking for him. I'm just saying, yes, it happens. It happens. Oh, yes, it does. And then once we get married, because we're used to each other, you're there. It's always there. I see it every night. It's going to be mine whenever I want it. I can roll over and get it if I want it. Then we get complacent. Then we start getting tired. Not just because we can have it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying sometimes we get so used to a person and we miss out on appreciating that person and really respecting them and appreciating them and esteeming them and affirming them and letting them know how we feel. It has to be reciprocated. It has to. When a man feels like every time he's asking or reaching or wanting, and you're just tired, you're pulling away. We talked about it in part 2, we dealt with it. We go to bed with workout clothes, spandex. We go to bed with our head tied up. We go to bed, rollers in our hair. Oh, don't mess with that wrap. If you got that hair wrap, oh my goodness, don't mess up my hair. We do all of that. We get into all of that. Oh, yes, we do. Be true. We get into all of that. And we work all of those mechanics, and it becomes almost like a robotic, okay? We call that lazy sex, that tired sex, that we just do it just because they're asking for it. That gets old, girls. I'm here to tell you, that gets pretty old at times. You got to do better than that. It's got to be more to it than just that, okay? So we have to understand that we have to meet each other where they are. We have to be able to communicate. We have to be able to engage. Let the person know how you feel. Let them know what's going on in your head. If there's a whole lot of things in your mind, talk about that. Let's deal with that at round table discussions. Let's get that out at dinner table. Let's lay those cards down at pillow talk time. Let's gel with that, because that's not something that we need to continue to keep carrying over and over and over again, and we're wondering why we keep ending up in the same space, dealing with the same thing. It's going to be one time too many that we're going to say no. It's going to be one time too many that we're going to say we're tired. Okay, don't get mad at me. I'm telling you the truth. You know, you can say, Mary J, well, why are you making it sound like it's our fault that, you know, and I'm tired and I've been working and I've been doing this and these kids and that. I understand all of that, but that's something that we do because we're the help meet. If we're the help meet, we're to meet the need. There's help. We need to meet the need. So if all of that is all of what we do, then we need to talk about it. We need to discuss it. We need to let that be known so we can be ready, because guess what happens? We put our time and our attention and our focus and our energy in all of these other places with all of these other people. We listen to our girlfriend problems and she can tell us all about what she's dealing with her mama, with her man, with her money, with everything, you know. We'll talk to them about all of that, and then we'll deal with what's going on, you know, with our mom and her issues and whatever problems that they may have. We're talking about all of that. Then our children, we're giving it all to them as well. We're doing all of that. And then in the workplace, we have to deal with that too. And don't talk about if you're in a position of authority, you have to deal with that. But then when you come home, there's nothing else left to deal with. You have depleted and exhausted all of your energy. You have no more left. And babe, forbid if he touched you in the middle of the night. If he roll over in the middle of the night and wake you up out of your precious sleep, oh my God, it's going to be hell to pay, right? It's a treat now. We have rationalized sex and we have made it a prize. When does that happen? That's not even scripture. That's not scriptural. That's not biblical for those of us that are deep. No. That's nowhere can be founded in the Word of God. So when we come together and communicate with one another, we have to be on the same level. We have to be real with it. We have to say what we feel. If we're dealing with so much, we have to be able to balance that thing out. We have to be able to relate to each other on an intellectual level. Not supposed to be a mind reader. You're not supposed to be reading my mind. You're not supposed to know what I'm thinking if I'm not communicating to you how I feel. So let's talk about it. Let's come together in jail with it. Let's spend some time discussing it. And men, listen, you have to be open to listen. We're communicators. We're emotional feelers. We'll talk about it if you open that outlet for us to speak. But you have to be open to listen to what we're saying. Now, if you hear what we're saying and you're compassionate and you understand where we are and you're able to meet us where we are, you're the leader. You're the covering. Help us. Help us. You know, so if we're saying that it's a whole lot that we're dealing with, can you help us deal with it? Can you help us prioritize this? Can you organize this? Can you tell us where we're lacking and where we need to be? And if we say we have all of this, don't expect us to handle all of this and you just say, okay, but at the end of the night, you still want what you want. We're pleading to you. We're letting you know how we feel. We're letting you know where we are. So can you help us get there so we can be on one accord? Okay. Now, ladies, when you have your man, and I said it before, he's reaching for you. He's touching, he's feeling, he's wanting it. And you are shutting down. You're despondent. You're disregarded. You're not saying anything. You're asleep. You're playing sleep. I know, I'm telling it all. You're playing sleep anyway. And hopefully you're getting and going to bed before he even gets in the bed so you can be knocked out, right? A lot of times you might stay up even later after that to hopefully that he goes to sleep before you get there. We do all of that. All of that. Yes, we do. But listen, that's a form of rejection for him. I said that before. He's not going to say, of course, he's not going to say, you know what? I feel rejected. He's not going to say, I feel like you're rejecting me, because men don't open up that way. We're those emotional feelers. We may say that. Men are not going to respond that way. Not all men. Some men do. A strong man that knows who he is and knows that he's feeling a certain way and he's tired of it and he's sick and tired, he's going to tell you, look, hey, I'm tired of this. You know, we got to do better than this. You've been pulling away over and over, and I've been waiting patiently. How much longer is this going to be? That opens the door for a whole lot to come in. Sex is so important. Sex releases stress. Sex places you on one accord. Sex brings about security. All those insecurities are kind of like moved out of the way when the two come together as one. When you are sexually being intimately with your partner and you're engaging on the same level, I'm telling you, sex does a whole lot for the mind. It clears the head. It does. And that's why that is such a spiritual attack on the union. Remember I said before, you couldn't get enough of it. You was getting it all the time. It was so good. Matter of fact, it was so good, he wanted it every night. And he knew when he said I do, he would be getting it every night. And maybe that same night when he got home on his wedding day, his honeymoon, it didn't even happen. Because sex is spiritual. Now that you're really together, walking in harmony and unity and on one accord, now that you're together where it is yours and you have made this vow to each other, now it's getting difficult. Now it's challenging. Now there's warfare in that area. Why do you think that is? Because a house that is divided cannot stand. Communication is the key. And with communication comes harmony, comes unity, two walking together in agreement. So if you want to keep all of the outsiders out, keep those doors locked. Keep those doors closed. Neglect the whole world rather than each other. Be there for each other on one accord. That foreplay that you have that stimulates in the time of the intimacy, being together on one accord, understanding what that person wants, understanding how that person feels, what gets them aroused, what makes them feel the way that they feel. Be serious about it. Be concerned about it. Be gentle about it. Be compassionate about it. Let them know what it is that you really want. And if they telling you what they want, help them get there. Don't just be all in it to win it for yourself. Get yours, get off, and go over, turn over and go to sleep. That's not intimacy. You didn't see anything into me. You saw absolutely nothing into me. You didn't even see what I wanted. You don't even know how I feel. You're not even trying to get me stimulated. Foreplay is caressing, it's conversation, it's gentleness, it's understanding where you are, it's touching those spots that make you feel what you know that gets you there. And if that's what gets you there, why don't you go there? Why are you if one partner is telling you what makes them feel good, you're like, okay, yeah, but we'll do that later. Or no, we're not, I'm not doing that right now. You know, this is a joke. You know, there's a joke that we see all the time when two are coming together to have sex, and you know, husband and wife basically. And then the wife usually says, okay, please, if you massage me first, please. And then after after she gets her massage, she goes to sleep. She falls to sleep on you. You know, that's not being sensitive or compassionate or coming together to understand what the other person wants and how the other person feels. So we're talking about intercourse on tonight. Ladies and gents, I open it up to the gentlemen on tonight because I really want to hear from you as well. We're going to talk about it for our Q&A. We want to keep the comments coming because I really want to hear what you have to say also. We're talking about intercourse, going into that course, gelling on one accord, being stimulated and reaching your peak. How do you get there? Through foreplay. You know, foreplay is playing on every angle, touching all of those sexual senses, meeting you where you are, whether it's through conversation, whether it's through eating, and I want to say delicacy, you know, the sensual fruits that satisfy you, that too. That's right. All of that is foreplay. Wherever you are, intimacy, seeing into me, seeing into him, intimacy. What do you see? Understanding where you are, meeting that person at that level, being able to satisfy them. You know what sex is really satisfying the partner, giving them much pleasure, making sure that you've met and satisfied every need that they have. Now, let me put a pause right there because I kind of went too far because I don't want to get in trouble with the ladies, because sometimes don't go overboard, okay? Don't take it. Okay, strawberries, that's right. Chocolate, strawberries, that's right. Imported cheeses, wines, gels, oils, all of that satisfies, stimulates the sexual senses. I wanted to say, let me put a pause because we want to keep it in the confines of what we know, those of us that are saved, biblical principles. I want to say that. I'm not talking about going outside of your home. I'm not talking about bringing other folk in your home, in your bed. The bed is undefiled, okay? Because it's honorable in the sight of God. I have to throw that in there. Not trying to be all church and deep on here. This is not what this matters of the heart is about. But I want to rectify that. I have to clarify that before we get kind of like too far out of the way, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about when you have a partner and you're really seeing into them. If you understand what intimacy is, intimacy, what do you see into me? Do you understand where I am? Do you understand how I feel? Do you understand what I've been through, what my background is, where I come from? All of that has a key to play in intimacy with your partner, because if you are connected with somebody that has been emotionally, physically, sexually abused, there are some things that you may not be seeing. Intimacy. There are some things that you may not see. You may not be able to reach her on the level that she needs to be reached on, or he. There's some men that have been abused and assaulted or gone through molestation at an early childhood. And let me tell you something, gentlemen that are on here as well. Those of you that have sexual partners at an early age with older women, that is molestation, in case you didn't know it. I know a lot of times, because gentlemen, we see things because we have a sexist society. We see things in a different light because we understand, hey, that's what boys do. That's what men is. I was a man early, you know. They taught you that. You know, you thought it was a real good thing because you were getting those girls at a young age, but that has a lot to do with the way you think now. That has a lot to do with the type of women that you encounter, the type of women that you engage in. It has a lot to do with your mentality and the way you think and the way that you relate to women. Come on, all of that is a part of intimacy. What do you see into me? Where are you trying to take me? Where have you been? Where are we going together as one? It's deep. It's spiritual. Don't think it's just physical. A lot of times when we develop these sexual relationships at early ages, and I want to talk to the men because we miss it on the men. A lot of times when our men go there at an early age, we just think that we just grew up getting it and we been knowing what it's about. We've been having it. Sometimes that keeps us off balance as women, knowing that you've gone through all of that, because now what happens? Let me tell you what happens. I'm going to say this again. I'm not a sexual therapist. I'm just a woman that knows women, okay? And because I am a woman and I empower women, I understand. I've heard so many stories. I've been there as well, okay? I was married for 19 years almost, and I'm single now. So I can tell you a little bit about it, okay? From the single standpoint as well as the marital standpoint. So we're going to talk a little bit, because sometimes our men engage in these sexual activities at such an early age with older women, and they're exposed to a whole lot more, pretty much more than females prior to us coming up and getting involved in sex. So now, when that seed has been planted at such an early age, and that seed is a seed of lust at that age, because now you're not understanding what's going on. You just understanding that you've engaged in this thing. It feels good to you. You know what it got you through. You know how it made you feel. Now you're that seed that has been planted. You wanting that. You wanting that. Now you're going after everything. You're getting it. You're getting it from everything, everybody, all through college. You wilding out. You're having a ball. You can't get enough of it. Now you're getting to your adulthood, and you're still playing games as a man. You're a grown man still chasing women, still trying to get this one and get that one. Like, enough is not enough. You're married and you're getting it and you still want it. That's because of all of that stuff that was not dealt with early on in life, as a child, as a boy, as a teen. You know, I talked to this young man that told me that he was a teenager, and his next door neighbor, that was an older woman, had him to sit on top of her and bounce up and down naked. He was a little boy. He thought that was funny. I said, she was a predator. That was molestation. And he looked at me like, what? You know, yeah. She was a predator. That's molestation. And so now, when you have engaged in all of that at an early age and you don't understand it, you had no spiritual guidance. You don't even understand what sex is all about. Yeah, grown men don't understand what it's all about. You just think it's a feeling. You just think it's emotion. You get in, you get out, you get off, you get it all. It's, oh my gosh. It's so much more. It's so deep. It's so spiritual. And until you really know inside who you are and all of what you have and how beautiful it can really be, you're going to keep bouncing around. You're going to keep jumping around. You're going to think that every piece is the piece until you get it. You're on to the next. Then you think that marriage is going to fix it. It won't. It won't fix it. It's an inside thing that you have to be set free from, that you have to be delivered from. You think that if you get married, because you gotten married, that is going to be enough. No, it's not. Not if you have not dealt with that. Sometimes we have all of this baggage that goes from generation to generation to generation. Your daddy was like that. Your uncles were like that. Your brothers are like that. And you understand you're like that, but you think that's just being a man. That's who I am. That's what we do. All men do it. No, all men don't. Real men, real kings, they know who they are. They've been set free. They know a queen when they see one. They know how to value that queen and how to respond to her and how to meet her where she is. They value her. They understand that it's not about trying to get it all, trying to have it all, but appreciating what you have is having it all. All right? We're talking about intercourse on tonight, guys. Foreplay, intimacy. What do you see into me? Rejection. When you are despondent, disengaged, disconnected to your partner, male or female, you've rejected them. I don't care how tired you are. I don't care how many headaches you have. You've rejected them. If you communicate that you're not feeling well, communicate that. Now, get it together. Turn that thing around. Come together. Pillow talk. Gel together. Let's talk about it. Let's see where we are with it. Okay? And we'll be able to come back together and have a sexual peak that would take you to levels that you know not of. And you'll always want to get there. It's frequency. How frequent do you have sex? If you have sex every now and then, it's just like exercise. You're going to exercise every now and then. You're not going to want it. You're not going to even feel it. You're going to be so tired of it. It's going to be like, okay, I got to go back out and do this again. That sex becomes the exact same way. It becomes the exact same way. If you're having sex once a month, once a week, your body becomes programmed. That's the only time you want it. And you may not even want it then. And then if you're 50 and over, it slows down even more. Okay? So what is it that's driving you? Whatever is driving you, whether it's your job, whether it's your ambition, your goals, whatever it is that's got you set, that's driving you, give a little bit of that energy and drive it into your partner. Give a little bit of that energy and focus on your mate and show them how much you care. We're talking about matters of the heart on tonight. This is your girl, Real Talk with Mary J. I just wanted to connect with you all on tonight, to engage with you all, because I get these topics all the time. I've been having these conversations for years. Founder and CEO of Women of Treasure LLC. We talk about it all the time. And listen, I want you ladies to connect with me with our movie club, Mary J Movie Club. I hope you've seen Acrimony. If you haven't seen it, let me know. I want you to be a part of our sit and sip. Go see it and come together. We're going to sit and we're going to sip and discuss it. We're going to talk about how it relates to our lives. How did we miss it? What are the strengths and the weaknesses? What are the positives? My girl Taraji P did her thing. Oh my gosh. It was thrilling. It was crazy. Oh yes, it was. But guess what? It was real. So if you haven't seen Acrimony, go and see it. And I want to connect with you. Follow me on Real Talk with Mary J. And also connect with me on our YouTube channel. Subscribe there. You can get all of our topics right there. And go to Instagram. Follow me at our Mary J Movie Club and Real Talk with Mary J on Instagram as well, so we can connect and unite together. All right, I see some comments on here. Let's see if I can kind of look at them really quickly, and we'll go through them as quickly as possible. We're going to have our Q&A coming up on probably next week if we don't go into intimacy a little deeper than tonight. I think that we kind of touched on it enough, but we'll see depending on what kind of questions and comments that I get, and see if we have to open it up for more discussion. Doctors, and it can be an addiction. Yeah, sex can be an addiction if that's what you're talking about. Yes, it can be an addiction if that's what you're talking about. Okay. Any questions? Hi, everybody. Everybody that came on after we started talking. It's so good to connect with you all. I was going to read you all. Let me read this to you right quickly. I'm trying to go quickly. Is that okay? Because we may be past the time. I want to read something to you. You got to be mature about this one. Okay, this is a chapter in my book. It's a portion of it. Let's see if I want, I might, I might get to read the whole thing. It's called Know Your Size. All right? Know your size. Listen to this. People come in many shapes and sizes. None of us are created the same. The world is an abstract of colors, customs, and cultures. Some are tall, short, tall, skinny, etc. Some have pear shapes, round, or hourglass. No matter how uniquely shaped you are, you should dress appropriately to your proportion. If you are pear-shaped, never wear garments that are tightly shaped your bottom. If you are round, try stand away from horizontal stripes and printed patterns. If you are short, avoid wearing long garments that you will get lost in. It is important to know your measurement so you can have the best possible fit. Clothing that is tailored fits always looks best. Just as a tailor-made suit styled and cut to fit you, it would never be to your liking without the proper measurements. Knowing you're a size 6 with the 29-inch waist or 36 with a 17.5 neck or 42-inch chest. Are you as interested in knowing the measurements of your mate's sexual organ? Or does size really matter? How ironic is it to be browsing through a shop preparing to pick up a gift to hear the conversations of young single women taking place on the next hour regarding their size of their potential mate's sexual organ. The world is so much wiser than we. It is not surprising to discover that singles may take more interest in their sexual preferences than those that are married. Taking out time to satisfy your partner sexually desires are important in relationships. However, sexual desires, drives, and interests are very important. This is a place where so many marriages fail. If your mate's sexual, hold on a second. If your mate's sexual organ, if you have never asked your mate the size of their sexual organ, I'm getting deep. I know I'm getting deep. But hang in there with me. I'm going somewhere. I promise you this. Trying to see where I'm losing it. Hold on, guys. Okay, here it is. I was off. If the average married couple, here it is, was asked the question, do you know the measurement of your mate's sexual organ? The answer would be an astounding no. As a matter of fact, most married couples would never even have considered such a question and would even be embarrassed about it. Have you noticed that whenever women are in bridal, bachelor, or co-ed showers, it is usually the young single women having the most fun, participating, winning, and enjoying all the games, while those that are married sit around quietly and bashfully, not really wanting to participate at all or comment? Surely it should be the other way around. Married couples should be just as excited and as impulsive as anyone in the room, and the older women should teach the younger. Instead, we have a younger generation knowing, doing, and experiencing more. Could it be that maybe the time spent raising a family and maintaining a career has left you physically drained? Or perhaps your partner no longer satisfies your sexual craving? You may have become so busy with the affairs of life and now sex has become a duty, assignment, or a chore. It is one thing to do on your to-do list. You have penciled it in on your calendar and maybe you get around to it at some point, right? In many instances, these situations occur when there is very little communication and consideration for the other. When there is a lack of communication in relationship, doors become open in other areas such as stress, depression, loneliness, insecurities, doubt, fear, infidelity. Newsflash, just in case you don't know, communication is key. Sex is an essential component in a relationship, and communication is the key that unlocks the door to intimacy. Intimacy, into me, see. It is mental, physical, and spiritual. If you do not communicate, how would you know what the other person is thinking, feeling, or wanting? Everyone must know their size. In other words, you must know what fits right, looks right, and feels right to you. Is it okay to converse during and after sexual intercourse? Of course it is. Say things like, does that hurt? Is that too much? Do you prefer it this way? How does that make you feel? Is that good? Am I pleasing you? Conversation stimulates the mood. It says, you are here with me, you are considerate, and you care. Now the chemistry has increased and you want more. Not only is sex satisfying and rewarding, sex is very spiritual. That is why there is so much warfare in relationships when it comes to sex. It is the two spirits connecting as one. When two walk together and connect spiritually, you become a force to be reckoned with. Does size really matter? Is bigger better? Certainly not. What matters is how well you dress, meaning how well you represent and perform as one. And that's the chapter 2. Know your size. Okay? I hope you've been intrigued on tonight. I hope you've been inspired. This is Matters of the Heart. We're going to bring those topics to you up close and personal, in your face. Those topics that are tabled on your heart that you really don't want to share, you don't want to discuss with anybody. I'm right here every Monday night to share them and talk to you up close and personal. I opened the space up to our gentlemen on tonight. So ladies, let's thank our gentlemen for coming in the room with us and sharing with us on tonight. I want you all to follow me for Real Talk with Mary J, where you can get more topics. Real Talk with Mary J is a social outlet for a positive outcome. I want you all to share with me. Follow me at Real Talk with Mary J. And Women of Treasure, come on and jump on board with us. We're going to have a great time at our sit and sip and our movie time. We're getting ready to do our meet and greet for our conference coming up in August, and we want you to be a part. So if you'd like to connect with us and be a part of this great conference, we need you. We need your help. We need you working in different areas. We want you to join forces with us. So stay connected so you'll know what all that is about as well. Okay? We look forward to connecting with you all on next week right here, same place, same time, for Matters of the Heart at 10 p.m. up close and personal with your girl, Real Talk Mary J. Okay, guys, connect with you on next week.